That's the image it takes. So if I do the worst possible face I can think of, that'll be the image that'll show up on Twitch's highlight. Hey, Feklas, how's it going? Hello, peeps over on YouTube land. Hey, St. Joan, Joego, Rowan of Gondor, Stage, McFegan Pants. I love the name, by the way. It's a pretty good one. Exogenesis, nice to see you here as well. Honestly, I really don't have much in the way of plans today. It's kind of going to be kind of a chill day, hanging out, maybe doing some questing on Landreval. Just kind of figure out what's going on. And talk a little bit about what we have in the works, although it's a little bit quiet. We're ramping up for update 20 here, which you'll see, within the next couple of weeks here, really start to take off. But we're kind of the calm before the storm, as it were. So if you have a question, please let me know. I will do my best to answer it. Hopefully well, perhaps poorly. Nonetheless, I will endeavor to give you an answer. Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings, here on twitch.tv/LOTRO stream and youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live. I am LOTRO's community manager, Cordovan, and I am on Landreval today. Just kind of hanging out, having some fun, answering your questions. What have you? Sitting on a table, staring at a turkey. That's what Dwinstrel, the Dwarven Minstrel, is up to. We have got an event that just kicked off about 2 hours and 3 minutes ago. We have an increased loot box drop rate through the weekend. That goes through the 26th, formally shut off on the 27th at 3 a.m. Eastern Time.
There's a unpleasant feeling lingering about. Something on the air is strange tonight.
Hey, Gussie, appreciate you being here. When is Update 20 going onto Bulwer? I need to check with Tiber on that. I looked at our bulletin board yesterday when that came up on the forums, and I don't have it written down yet. So my guess is within the next couple of weeks, it'll be on Bulwer. But stay tuned, we'll let you know. Like I say, Update 20 currently targeted sort of later in March. So you can expect the regular cadence of it getting onto Bulwer and such soon. That will, of course, for those who don't know, Update 20 is going to be the Battle of the Black Gate. It also has a bunch of other cool things in it as well. But yes, Battle of the Black Gate, we're really setting the stage with Update 20 for the Mordor expansion, so you can imagine that it's going to end on a bit of a cliffhanger. But we're not going to spoil any of that right now, so. Any early news on what sort of racial abilities the High Elves will have? Let me see if we got something on Palantir I can talk about. I don't know. I guess I'm going to leave it for a little bit later on. But I can tell you they're going to have, several class choices that are a little bit different from what has come before with elves. Looks like we do have a few class skill updates that are going to be happening with Champion, Burglar, and Lore Master. But, like I say, we're going to be having fuller release notes out for Bulwer here pretty shortly, so why don't I wait for most of that stuff? Elf Bjorning? I don't think so, right? But I do think we're going to have High Elf Captains, which is something that I believe is not currently possible with a regular elf, so. Spoiler alert, the ring will be destroyed. Yeah. How do you know? I mean, you see it go into the lava. You know, Sauron goes, no! You know, in his typical destructive way. But you don't know that it's destroyed. It's not like you see the thing crumble in dust. It just goes into the lava, right? You know, cut to 1977. A group of archaeologists are chipping away at a rock, and they come across a bunch of prehistoric bones. Among the bones is a strange ring. I'm kidding. I am kidding. Just kidding. But ooh, need Druid's Fire. PAX East. Yeah, by the way, PAX East is coming up here. What? Not this weekend or next weekend, but the weekend after that. So 3 Saturdays from now, I'll be near the Boston Convention Center. I am planning an informal player meetup, both for Dungeons and Dragons Online and Lord of the Rings Online. So if you're going to be at PAX East, or if you're close enough to the Boston area that it don't really matter, you know, quick drive or what have you, we are going to be having some kind of informal meetup. This will be most likely at a bar restaurant kind of thing, a little bit away from the convention center, just so that we can pick up people who aren't going to the convention center, and because all the bars around the convention center tend to get taken up with private events. I think our current plan is to target Saturday evening. And the way it's basically going to work is if you think you can make it, I'm going to have something, like I say, this is real informal. And it's just going to be, hey, we're going to be 7 o'clock at, the Bell in Hand or something like that. And if you want to stop on by, you can. We should have some LOTRO and other game devs there. Standing Stone Game Peeps. And basically as much swag as I can pack a mule on my back. The last couple of years, for those who aren't aware, I basically Santa Claus it with a big, lawn bag kind of a thing, and hand out t-shirts and hoodies, and I guess I've got some Lord of the Rings flags and things like that. Basically anything I got, I'm going to bring with me, and we'll be hanging it out, so. Alright. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. If you're going to be in the area, you don't actually have to be in PAX East to take part in this event. We do that on purpose because we have a bunch of people in the area who, kind of live within a couple hours and are like, yeah, I could drive in to hang out. That would be pretty fun, but I'm not getting PAX East tickets. So that's why we do it that way. Is Quartermaster Yu coming to the party? I think so. I'm going to have to double check with him, but I seem to recall him saying that he might be able to help me carry some stuff, which leads me to think that he's going to be there. No Wavemaster Ashi over on YouTube. I cannot confirm a report that Sarah Oakart is planning to make a PAX East appearance. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on officially with PAX East. Standing Stone Games and LOTRO are not going to be there officially on the exhibit hall floor. Although, Standing Stone, we're a bunch of game devs in the game dev area of Boston, so we're helping out friends, we're hanging out at their booths, we're, seeing the sites ourselves. So most, if not all of the companies pretty much going to be at PAX East, but we're not, spending the not insignificant sum of money to have a kiosk or anything like that. Instead, we're kind of going more unofficial, like I said, with meetups and things like that. So, notice how Jerry is ignoring my desires for a discussion of a ranger class. That's the hunter. What do we have the hunter? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Do we need to RSVP for the PAX meetup? Almost certainly not. Unless something changes that I'm not aware of in the next couple of weeks. It's going, like I say, the key word here is informal. That means we are sort of saying, we're going to be here, and if you happen to show up, that's pretty awesome. We're doing it on the cheap. But we do have swag and stuff, and we want to hang out with you guys and gals. So, Like I said, we're kind of targeting maybe like the Bell and Hand area. For those who are familiar with that part of Boston, there's a whole bunch of kind of tavern restaurant type things. So we're just gonna find a nice section and do it. So. Yeah, I don't understand. We already have the Hunter. A Hunter's as rangery as a ranger gets, isn't it? Yeah. Tellurian, do you know if the movies played during the epic were filmed on location, e.g., there is a movie at the beginning of Book 1 where the Tower of Orthanc is shown, which was not available for the players? Did the tower exist in such an early phase of the game, or did you cheat on it using Barad Gularan for filming it? I don't know the latter part of the question, but I'm going to say at this point, given that that's pretty early in the game's history, that it didn't exist in a formal state in like World Builder at that point. So it was probably a cutscene that an artist put together, for that specific video, rather than say some kind of capture in the game. Were I to guess. No, a hunter is not a ranger. You can be a ranger at the Etten Moors for about 1 hour. Put on ranger armor, pretend to range with your hunter. Okay, so I'm out of my context here, because when I think ranger, well, I think Smokey the Bear first. But other than Smokey the Bear, I think Dungeons and Dragons, the formal 3.5, 5th edition, whatever, ranger class. So, but it sounds like you guys are talking about something a little bit different from that, huh? Any possible changes to Champion in the near future? Probably not. I think overall, I haven't really heard that Champion's in a particularly rough state compared to, say, Bjorning, Guardian, some of the other things that we've, been hearing about. But if we need to, we can always do that. Hey, Bloodborne. Will we be expecting Mordor pre-orders for Update 21? Any word on prices? Basically, I want to start saving now. Zoe the first. No. We will be doing a pre-purchase of some kind for the Mordor expansion. We don't yet have a date on the exact when. We're still planning Mordor for, the summer. So you figure at least a couple of weeks before then we'll have some kind of pre-purchase option. In terms of the cost, we aren't yet ready to announce a formal cost, but I think you can, if you're used to purchasing expansions for Lord of the Rings Online, it'll be within the same ballpark there. So whatever you paid in the past, probably the ballpark of where it'll be this time around. Can I confirm whether I will wear a big bullseye at my informal gatherings that read "Aim Nerf Bow here"? No, I will probably be wearing my Standing Stone Games t-shirt. That way people can find out, like, if you're less like, I don't even know what this guy looks like. Just look for the Standing Stone Games logo. Maybe a LOTRO cape. Can I tease any new soundtrack for Update 20? I can only tease it to the extent that I just talked to someone yesterday who was telling me that they were listening to the new Update 20 soundtrack that was put together by one of our music peeps that we use. I don't think we have it. Oh. Well. That sounds like a tease to me. And I'm not going to do any more than that at this point, but it's something that we clearly have at this point. So it's coming together pretty strong, as you can well hear. Will we ever get to the United Kingdom? As we haven't been there since 2006 for like game conventions. That's a tough one. I mean, I would love to. I have never been to the United Kingdom. Other than Canada, this guy's never been out of the country. There is, frankly, kind of a cost. It might be cost prohibitive to do that sort of thing. I'd say it would be more likely that it would happen if we had some kind of sponsor for an event or speaking engagement or something like that. But never say never. Who knows, right? I'm down for it. The United Kingdom has scones. Yes. And actually, I also hear, so I'm a big fan of Indian food, like from the country India. And I understand you Brits like your curries. So I would be down for that. I ain't going to do any of that blood pudding stuff. None of the weird stuff that I read sometimes happens in the United Kingdom. Plus, I call them fries, not chips. Chips are the crunchy things, not fries. But I'm down for the curry, for sure. Okay. So, people are talking a little bit about champion single target damage versus AoE damage, things like that. I appreciate that feedback on that stuff. I guess that's a bit out of the scope of something I'm really ready to talk about. So, just for the hex of it, I noticed that I've got. Where do I have? I just saw it in my inventory. Now, what happened to it? I have a little quest here somewhere that I can do. Where did I put that now? Oh, I'm not seeing it. I had a thing that was like, click on this to do a thing. And I was like, I could do a thing. Well, whatever. I'll find something else to do. I could have sworn that I just saw it. Oh well. No, I'm not seeing it. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of, I guess, continue on with the book chapter. Maybe I can go talk to Radagast the Brown at his tower at Ostgurth. Ostgurth? I think. Where am I going? Here we go. Crisps are crunchy things. Chips are big potato fries. And fries are skinny chips that you get in Mackie D's? You're wrong! I will carry this to my grave. No, it's totally cool. It is kind of funny, though, when I think crisps, I'm like, crisps? What in the world is a crisp? That's weird, Yanks. What do we know? Nothing, that's what we know. Yeah, I wonder if I can just travel to Osgirth.
How can I be of service?
There we go. Good enough. I can do that. question from a crafting alcoholic. Any chance of adding functions to the API so we can make add-ons that batch move ingredients to shared storage mail? Unfortunately, we really don't have any API support at this point in the game's history. That API was put together by a bunch of former web team devs, really on their own time. And we just don't have those folks working for the company anymore. They haven't for quite some time. We also don't have any resources dedicated to API support. So, sorry to say, probably not on anything API related for the near future. Will the Bjorning get some changes? Shaggy Wizard 1 says. I've said this kind of in the past, but as a general sense of what to expect, we want to really start probably with taking care of a bunch of the bugs with Bjorning and get them to kind of ground zero, so to speak. At that point, I think we'll be taking a look at what further changes we can do to, enhance the Bjorning further. But I think it's probably best that we start with just sort of saying, okay, let's get them to where we want them to be to start with, and then we'll figure out what further work needs to be done. Does the lack of racial dances for Bear count as a bug? In my mind it does, but I don't know. I wasn't on the team when they made Bjorning, so I'm not quite sure what their design intent was on that. I'd have to ask. Hey, Roman Z, appreciate you coming back to the game. I agree, bears should be able to dance. What the heck, man? Let's see, so I know that we have a couple of cool events coming up as well. I saw a thing that on the 28th, let me see if I can try to shout out a couple of players' events. Yeah, Fat Hobbit next Tuesday. I assume it has to do with, like, Fat Tuesday. The Bounders of the Shire and Green Hill Music Society are going to be at the Bird and Baby and Michael Delving. That's next Tuesday, starting at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Evening of music and dance. We have also got, if I recall, and actually let me call something up here. Jazz music this weekend on Landreval. That's by Noten Zauber. You can find out information about that on LOTROartists.com. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Landreval, 21 CET at the Ivy Bush Inn in Hobbiton. As a jazz fan, I think that's pretty rad. And D and Company du Milieu are organizing a housing contest for later in March. That's a French event that's going to be taking place. I could also mention one other thing that later on today, keep an eye out on LOTRO.com. The plan is to debut the LOTRO Beacon today. What the heck is the LOTRO Beacon? Basically, it's the Lord of the Rings online equivalent to the DDO Chronicle. For those who are familiar with that in Dungeons & Dragons Online, it's a weekly newsletter that I put together, which really serves as a one-stop shop for other links. It itself doesn't tend to contain a lot of new news, but what its main purpose is that if you only look at one thing LOTRO related during the week, make it this thing, because it'll get you linked out to other events and happenings, official sort of goings on, things like that. It's kind of a one-stop shop for links about what's going on in the world. So let me hang out yet. So anyway, that's going to be debuting today. I also am planning to do both French and German versions of it. Although at this point, it isn't clear whether that's going to be able to get done today or whether it's going to be posted tomorrow, that really depends on how things go with the localization group and when they get back to me. If it gets back today, I'll be posting it up today on localized versions. Otherwise, it'll just be the English version today, and then
Why come you here?
the localized versions as soon as I get it back. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that Bjorning wouldn't have a steed. Any new classes in the foreseeable future? I haven't heard of any new classes, but I would never say never. Alright. The Eaglane let you in, did they? I have been expecting you, though sooner rather than later. You have in fact taken your time. I understand you found something upon Weathertop. This rubbing, I do believe it is a G rune, a mark oft used by Gandalf the Grey, another of my order. I guessed from the description of those 3 lines that he was at Imansul on October the 3rd, not but a few days past. I too saw the lightning upon Weathertop and fear that Gandalf found trouble there. I have not seen him since we parted at Sarn Ford, so I can tell you no more of him nor his travels. Of this place I can tell you much, but make reason of very little. Cool. Ooh. Kinda looks like maybe I should be switching to those Ranger light gloves, huh? Although that might be cool as well. Oh, it's a shield though. Actually, I am one-handed, right? Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
Will you help me?
The land itself is turning against us, and I know not the reason why. Even the shepherds are twisted shadows of their former selves. I speak of the bog prowlers, those that tend to the trees. If I can discern what is twisting the shepherds, I may be able to determine what is fouling the land. Bring me the moss that they use to line their nests. They roam the swamp to the east of here. Remember, I do not wish to harm the shepherds, no matter how confused they appear. They are innocent victims of the corruption, and know not the harm they do. Okay. I'm down for that. Do I think it will be a big undertaking to get a reset active instances type of button added to the instance finder? This would take the place of having to zone into another instance to disband or transfer leadership. I don't know what the scope of that undertaking would be. That would be really something we would need to bounce off our engineers, first off.
Will you help me?
I was just there, man. Fine. Talk to you about your oatmeal problems. You know what your oatmeal problem is? You like maple oatmeal. You like oatmeal with stuff in it. It should just be plain oatmeal, man.
Could I speak with
That's
you?
the only oatmeal that really counts. You know I'm right.
Would you do something for me? Could I speak with you a moment? Would you do something for me?
I am a big oatmeal fan. Ain't gonna go in for none of that cream of wheat garbage. Actually, I like cream of wheat too. No, it is not the best oatmeal. It's a falsely flavored substitute for real maple syrup. Now, if you're using real maple syrup, then okay, maybe.
Might I take a moment of your time? Might I take a moment of your time? Stay a moment.
Otherwise, no. So to answer your question, though, more fully, Bloodborne, I don't know what the scope of that work would be. I mean, I know that it would be some level of engineering work rather than, say, content work. So it would presumably not be trivial to do. But that does sound like something that might make some sense to do. So I want to answer some more questions.
You want?
Quick pop over to the Forsaken Inn again. So that I can finish up those two quests that we have. Is there perhaps any chance that we will see some changes to the scaling system for old instances on T2? Currently starting to lose players since it's been about 7 months since the last instance came out, and there has been nothing else even remotely challenging to run. Retrofitting older instances is probably outside of the scope of our short-term agenda, but perhaps adding a new instance or two is something that we probably will be doing. Can I do that thing with the camera on this account? No, I can't. This is a regular play account, not an admin account. Would it be possible to open the old complete instances at the anniversary if the way they originally were shipped with the game? Not scalable, no special reward, just the way they were back in the old days, or are they eternally destroyed? I don't know the answer to that question in terms of whether or not it's possible to do. I know that for our 10th anniversary we have, and plans that are different from that. So sorry. I'm going to guess probably not, or else it would have been done already. But I don't know. It's interesting, Bloodborne, about that reset active instances button. And I mean, unless there's some kind of, like, someone could cheat something or other, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible nor desirable. Hey, Flo and Phil and Vadim over on YouTube. It's a question that I'm going to leave to the community, asking as a new player, what are the expansions I, quote, need to get? People are saying things like Moria, Mirkwood, Isengard, Rohan, Helm's Deep. Some folks are just saying, just get the quad pack and you're good. Quad pack doesn't include Helm's Deep. Okay, that makes sense. Can we remove the stupid cooldown for using the instance finder already? This is 2017 and we're still playing an almost 10-year-old game. Let us play it! Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me either, but whatever. I'll have to ask about, when I get off the air here, I'll have to say, so what's the deal with the instance finder cooldown? And see what kind of answer I get, because I don't actually know myself. That does seem a little strange. Like I said, my guess is that I'm hearing I'm purely speculating here. But when I hear about some of these things, I'm wondering, I wonder if we don't have some kind of exploit thing, which is why these things are in place. But I don't know. Really? That's all I needed to do? Jeez. Wasn't there something else? goofy things. Alright, well, I guess that's all I needed to do, huh? I should... Let's see what I want to do. But make sure that's added to the tracker. Oh, there we go. And laugh. That's what I'm looking for. And laugh the forlorn. Oh. Tavern keep.
Whoa.
Oatmeal problems. Hannah the Young needs oatmeal? Well, I'm afraid we're all out, and there's little to be done about it. My supply has dried up because of the problems they're having up in Oatbarton. The cousin of old Mugworts lives in the town, a bounder by the name of Nod Gardiner. He says there are all kinds of problems there that the bounders can't solve by themselves, like why you would eat maple-flavored oatmeal. You look like you can handle yourself pretty well, so if you should happen to swing around that way, you may be able to do some good. There won't be any oatmeal delivered out this way until problems in Oatbarton are sorted out. Well, I see. Oatmeal problems. I got 99 problems, but oatmeal ain't one. I would avoid doing the Oatbarton quests. It's about an hour's worth of fetch quests. Okay. It is oatmeal related, so it's got that going for it. But sure, I will head back to the book. And take care of oatmeal related problems on my own time.
What can I do for you?
No, Cordu, please no. See, the idea of oatmeal-related problems just fires that part of my brain that I really enjoy. So I am all down for helping people with their oatmeal-related problems. But nonetheless, I will continue on with our epic book, which for some reason doesn't seem to be oatmeal-related. I want oatmeal now, darn you people. Yeah. I eat oatmeal frequently for breakfast. Important data on this week's Court of the Rings. Yeah, I'm sorry for saying mean things to the Brits about their definition of the word crisps and fries. For we too are not, averse to bad naming of things. Like in the New England area, they don't know what hash browns are. When you get hash browns at a cafe, pretty much anywhere in the Boston area, they give you these square potato things, which I would call diced potatoes. For me, hash browns are these shredded thick shreds of hash browns that are put in a patty-like thing and then fried. That's the way we do it in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Midwest. None of this square potato nonsense. But yet they call them hash browns nonetheless. So I'll go to a cafe, I'll be like, yes, hash browns. And then I get some kind of pathetic little square potato thing. It's a travesty, I tell you, a travesty. Yep. All right, let's see. So yeah, I do think we have update 20 coming to Bull Roar probably pretty soon. I know that I've already seen a lot of the change lists that are coming in. It's very active on Palantir. They've done, geez, about half a dozen builds at this point. So I think we're getting real close to getting this to Bull Roar. I will double check to see kind of what the actual plan is here in the near future. But yes, I do think this is something that'll be coming sooner rather than later. Right, well, let me just kind of head out here and see what there is to be seen. Now see, tater tots I understand. Tater tots are little barrels or perhaps some kind of coin-like structure that you can finger food dip into ketchup or whatever other kind of thing you're into. So that makes sense to me. But calling home... I agree, by the way, they're home fries, not hash browns. But yet people don't say it right. Someone says, do I call it soda or pop? That's tricky. I tend to go back and forth on that. So I was technically born in Rhode Island, where people call it soda. But then, as a young child, I moved to the Midwest, where if you call something soda, they're going to give you soda water, not, you know, some kind of cola-style beverage. So I tend to go back and forth on it. I prefer the word soda, but that is just me. Overall, I'm fairly ambivalent about what people call it. I also, when I lived down in Georgia for a couple of months, they called everything Coke. It didn't matter whether you were ordering a Pepsi, they called it Coke. I always thought that was a little strange. But hey, they take their carbonated sugar beverages pretty seriously down there. Alright. In Sweden, it's Läsk? Läsk, huh? That's a cool word. I'm down for that. interrupt someone else's gameplay. Pretty cool looking things around here, I have to say. Yeah, see, I would agree with you, Sam Burke, but that's not the way they do it down in Georgia. Yep. Anyway, let's see. What else, what else should I mention? I think I mentioned last week that we did the voice work already for Update 20, and we got some really, really good looking stuff. There's a couple of kind of secrets in Update 20 that, you know, relate to leading into Mordor that, you know, are going to be happening, so I want to be kind of careful about what I say and don't say, because I don't want to inadvertently give away something that the development team would prefer you find on your own. So I'm trying to be a little quiet about Update 20 here. But yeah, we did the voice work pretty recently, and it's basically done at this point, and it's pretty awesome. Hello. Ooh, deadly bile spewer. Exogenesis. With the renewed activity of GMs, is there any chance we might see a return of the fashion housing Maven system? My kin just finished setting up a trophy room on a Belphilus island with every single rare instance trophy on display. That's cool. I don't know about the housing Maven system in particular. You know, a lot of that really depended on the available resources of who was there to do it. But I do think we're going to see, I mean, we will be seeing increased game events, particularly as we head toward LOTRO's 10th anniversary celebration. If nothing else, I'll be doing them. I like the idea of having a housing contest, just because it makes a lot of sense with our, you know, updates to housing, premium housing and that. So I think that sounds like a good idea. I don't know whether or not the formal housing Maven event is something that we'll be doing or not. I guess I will kind of have to learn more about what that actually was. Will the new expansion have a lifetime sub? No. We have no plans to bring back the lifetime subscription option in for Lord of the Rings Online. Sorry. Yeah, so we had a kind of a crazy GM weekend for sure. You know, I appreciate that people really enjoyed the events on Arkenstone and that. I will say that that was sort of a spontaneous, unplanned thing. And, you know, we do need to be a little careful about some of that stuff because it has the potential to have a detrimental in-game impact. So I'm not sure exactly how much that sort of thing will be done. But, you know. But that kind of thing, maybe not that specific, say, activity, spawning Balrogs and Bree, will probably not be making a comeback. But that kind of sort of spontaneous event is something that, yes, we would like to do. Like I said, we just have to be really careful about how we do that sort of thing, because it can cause some real problems real quick. We'd hate to crash a server on a weekend or something like that. Oh, I'm in the wrong stance. That's what my problem is. Well, I don't want to be too cruel about it, Juracy. It's just that that kind of thing of like, wait, what happened? Can be a little surprising, you know? Is it right that we are working on a 64-bit client? I don't think it would be correct to say we are working on a 64-bit client, but I do think it would be accurate to say we have plans to explore a 64-bit client. Does that mean that it's, quote, actually going to happen? We'll have to see. I mean, it depends on what the investigation is. But it's something we would like to do as well as you guys. You know, there's a lot of good reasons to do a 64-bit client. And if that's something we can bring in the future, that I think that that's something we're going to be exploring. But it is not accurate to say, like, currently today we have got resources dedicated to doing it. At this point, it's really more of an exploratory, investigative thing than, say, something in active development. Phil Boswell says basically I went VIP for a month to get the Seat of the Eldar, which is awesome. We appreciate that. I've been getting individual zones as the Epic Quest visited them. Is there a more economical way to spend my LOTRO points? Again, that's a great question that's probably better answered by the community than, say, someone who formally works for the company. But certainly you'll want to keep an eye on our sales to see when things, you know, go on sale that make a lot of sense for you. I don't think that we're going to be going to Bull Roar with Update 20 this weekend. If we are, it's news to me. I'm going to have to check with Tiber to see what our Bull Roar plans are. There is a guide on the wiki for what zones to purchase. That sounds like a good thing to check out if you are in that position. Is there any chance of having a sale on LOTRO points for buying LOTRO points, not buying stuff with LOTRO points? Yes, we often have double bonus points sales. I'm actually of the impression that we just had one for LOTRO, didn't we? Like literally last week or the week before? But I'll have to double check that when I'm not being attacked by a twisted swamp Norbog. Yes, as a matter of fact, I was correct. We just had a double bonus point sale that ended last Sunday. It ran through the 19th of February here, so you just missed it. But in general, you'll want to keep an eye out for it. We do double bonus point sales periodically, so keep an eye out for that for the next time one comes around. But that's something you can do when they are on sale. You can stock up and get get some bonus LOTRO points for picking up points purchases there. Do I know when the expansion packs might return to Steam? No, I don't. Some of that is out of our control. But that'd be a question for Quartermaster Yu. He might know more about what the plans are for that. Cool. Well, being as I'm at 1 o'clock here, why don't I head back to Radagast the Brown and turn in that bog moss and then kill it a shear. There we go. Alright, so just a quick reminder that we are going to be debuting the LOTRO Beacon a little bit later on today. That'll be a weekly Lord of the Rings Online newsletter put together by me. The basic idea is just to give you a sense of various concerts, player events, official Turbine things that are going on, what have you. Sort of a one-stop shop for information about what's going on in Lord of the Rings Online over the upcoming week. If you, by the way, are an event organizer or kind of have something going on, please let me know about it. The best way to get this information out to the public is for you guys to get in touch with me to let me know what's happening. I mean, I am a bit like the Eye of Sauron in that I tend to be always keeping an eye out for Lord of the Rings Online things that are happening on the internet, but it is possible that things slip by me. So if you've got an event that you want promoted, please get in touch with me. And you can just do that through contact@standingstonegames.com. You can, at LOTRO us on Twitter. You can send us a message. You can send us a message on Facebook. You can post it on the forums. Kind of however works best for you is perfectly fine. I'd be happy to see what I can do to support your event and make sure I get it in the LOTRO Beacon here for future weeks.
You have returned, I see. This reeks of death.
All right. So I'm going to leave that here. Thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings Online. Just a reminder, we do have a bonus loot box weekend that kicked off today that runs through the weekend. So if you're loot boxing, hope you have some good luck there. Thank you very much for watching. You can find the full schedule on twitch.tv/LOTROstream. We have got shows all week long, lots of great streamers playing Lord of the Rings online. Thanks for playing, and I'll see you again next week. Have fun.